That's the thing, right?
我小时候有想过哎。
Yeah, like don't you remember when I used to like jump off the top step of the stairs in the house? I used to try and like pretend like I'm flying.
I think all of us as kids, we wanted to be some kind of superhero, no?
Will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream.
There is an indefinable, mysterious power that pervades everything.
Last night I had a dream.
Be formless, shapeless, like water.
That this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another.
The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
Why are you looking at me like that? Are you calling me out as one of the crazy ones? I don't know, actually. It probably is like a Chinese culture thing to need to like respect others, to smile at everyone, and to like help those in need.
But I don't think that's a Chinese culture, no? I think it's just like the basics of being a kind and compassionate human being.
I like that. Being a kind and compassionate human being. That's what we're going to call this video. How to be a full-time superhero. 那我从2011年开始吧。
哎，那你那时候是怎么来到肯亚的？
我那个时候有 depression 了。I think back then I was very lost in life, very confused. 我记得有一句话is from Bob Marley. He said that some people are so poor that all they have is money. And that's exactly how I felt back then. From the outside, I think everybody's seen me and thinks, oh, he has everything. But only I knew deep down inside that there was always something missing. And back then I couldn't really put my finger on what that thing was. I think I felt that amount of lack at the time is because I didn't have a reason. And life without reasoning has no motivation. I really wanted to know the meaning of life. Like, why are we here? Why do we do what we do? What is the point of everything?
When we build the new orphanage, when we change the environment, when we improve the educational system to another level, what can these kids achieve here? I believe that within our kids, not just in terms of this education. I mean, some of them, you know, the next Obama, I think, could come from this school.
那你是怎么找到你的使命的？
I don't think I really needed to search back then. The moment I arrived here, it felt like 3 big answers just like slapped me on the face multiple times. I seen orphans with no food, no water, no education, no clothes. To the outside world, it looked like they had nothing. But when I looked at them back then, I started to cry because I'd never seen anything like it. With the biggest smiles they had on their faces, playing, it almost seemed like they had the secret. Like the secret to everything, or maybe the secret to happiness. The first lesson taught me that everything is about perspective. There is no best, there is no worst. It really depends what we're comparing it to. If we live our whole lives comparing to people who have more than us, we're always going to feel a lack. But if we actually have the consciousness to know that in this very moment right now, around the world, there are people struggling to fight for their lives. We start to realize that, hey, my heart's beating right now. That's everything. Hey, I get to breathe right now. That's everything. Hey, you mean I even get to experience challenges in life? You mean other people don't have the privilege to do so? Once you start understanding and appreciating life for what it is, and having the gratitude, having that attitude of gratitude towards everything that you have, not everything that you don't have. When you start to appreciate that, your life will start to appreciate. The second biggest realization I had back then was that actually with very little money or even very little time or effort, we can actually not just change lives, we can in fact save lives. I remember back then, there was a small child who was struggling, fighting for life. And all she needed was $200 for an operation. If it wasn't for the $200, she probably wouldn't even be here right now. I think there was an African proverb that said, if you
want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
That's the one. The final lesson I learned was the power of we, the power of unity. 13 years now, we've been here in Kenya doing our part with our orphanage, with our school, with everything that we've set up here. And every single year without fail, I've been bringing volunteers out here. Why? Because quite early on I realized I can't do all this by myself. This is not a story of Superman. This is more like a story of Avengers Assemble. The only way to create lasting change is to lead by example and to learn how to pass the message on. I remember an old mentor of mine once said that leaders don't just create followers. Real leaders create leaders. That is the only way that we can create generational change. That's the only way that we can create lasting change. And just as many generations of world leaders who have made change in this world, who have challenged the status quo and did things that are extraordinary, when they put the message out there, they probably created leaders like me because I was inspired by it. So the purpose of this video was quite simple, really. If it just gave you a drop of inspiration so that maybe you can step up to start being your full-time superhero. Maybe if you just started with the act of kindness, and when you start moving through this journey, maybe one day you'll find the leadership within you to be able to inspire others to do the same. The final question that I have for all of you today is, how are you going to call it? Are you still going to be the one-day person? Or are you going to call today your day one?